So it's 3 o'clock. It's a Wednesday, and that means that it's time for Fikasnack om framtidens utbildning, or Fika Talk about the future of education here at KTH. And as always, we try to keep these conversations a bit unprepared and a bit. We'll let the conversation go where it leads us. If anyone who's watching online is interested, it's always welcome to write questions in the chat. We will also publish this afterwards, unedited, on Spotify, YouTube, KTH Play, and elsewhere. I am Johan Fidel. I work at the IT department, and I'm the pod host. And with me today is Gunnar Tibet.
Yes, I'm Gunnar Tibet, co-leader of the Future Education Program Management.
And you're back in the pod again.
Yes, I think that maybe a month ago I was.
Yeah, it's been a little while. I mean, we have a rotating cast of of people here. I tend to be there always, but then we have different people that help me make sense of different things, which I certainly need. But today we also have a person who is an expert in making sense of things together with other people. Farazee Asif, welcome to the pod.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be here. This is my first this kind of thing pod, so I'm very excited to know what happens there.
I wish I could tell you, but I can't. It is what we make it.
I was a newbie last year, so.
Oh yeah.
I'm
and
still
it was fun for you. Great.
But you've been a teacher at KTH for 15 years, and now you have been awarded the KTH Pedagogical Prize 2023, and yes. It's based mainly on your work with circular manufacturing systems, the course there. And various aspects of that has led you to become a very popular and appreciated teacher here at KTH. But if we start with, who are you and how did you end up at KTH, and what is your field of research? A little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to start up with my name, it's a bit tricky, so call me Asif. Most of you know about it. So I prefer to be called as Asif. That's my name. So how did I end up at KTH? I think this is a question that I often get, and I'm very pleased to tell that story as well. So I was born and raised in Bangladesh. I did most of my studies there, and then I moved to Sweden in 2004 as an international student to do my master's. And I came to Borlänge to do my master's at Högskolan Dalarna, and 2 semesters there I decided to move to a bigger city, and KTH was obviously the first choice for me. So I started my master's thesis at the Department of Production Engineering, where I work right now at this very moment, and that's how I ended up at KTH. And of course, after my master's thesis, I continued as a faculty from 2006. And that's why you see I have a very long experience of teaching at KTH. I received my PhD in 2017 and also docentship in 2022. I'm by education mechanical engineer, but I'm very passionate now about research in circular manufacturing systems. And what it means, in brief, it means that we try to support manufacturing industry to move from this linear economy where we take resources, we manufacture goods, and then we use them and we throw them. That's the linear system. We want to make it more circular, that we can consume less resources and generate less waste. And this is a emerging topic, and there is a great need in this area. So this is my research in particular. In my personal life, I'm a father of 2 children and husband of a loving wife, and I like nature very much. So if I have time and the weather is not that extreme, then I like to be outside, spend my time outside. So I hope this is a good summary of who I am.
It very much is, and as you have learned, the window of opportunity when it comes to the weather, it opens now and it closes sometime in September. So make sure to, unless you enjoy the more extreme weather as well, of course.
No, I avoid extreme weathers, but in between, I think we have a pretty good window. I must say,
it's lovely.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure Sweden was populated at this time of the year. Otherwise, nobody would have stayed here. But so I think it is a nice time of the year for sure.
I think that's some years when there's a bad summer, you look back and say, "Oh, there was a summer here. Yeah, that was a Tuesday, right?"
Yeah, exactly. It is very much so. But now it's lasted for like 4 days. I actually have the window open here at the office, and it's so that's good. But the thing is that you have been awarded a prize as a teacher. It's one thing to be interested in a research subject or an area, but it's another thing to also take, the teaching very seriously and working on that. How did that happen? How did you find inspiration? If we start there.
Yeah, I think this is a very good question. And I'm very pleased that you're asking this question, because research is a very important aspect, but it has a bit of limitation what you can do with research. At some point you hit the roof that, okay, I have done research and I have published a lot of articles and so on, but what happens then? How do you take it to the society? And this is where I think the connection between research and teaching comes in. Because as a researcher, I have limited capability. But if I start to teach 100 people every year, I have the possibility to bring my research to the society. And this is where I think the motivation comes in. That, okay, how can we popularize our research so that more people are talking about it and more people are taking it to the next level? So I think this connection is very important, and that is the fundamental thing that motivates me to be in this teaching side.
So this course that you're teaching, I read the article here to be prepared, and I think how long has that been around? And are you sort of the founder of that one, also the initiator?
Yes, the course has ran for 3 years. So the first year was the pilot, and that pilot we intentionally, although there was many interest that the student would like to take, but we said no. First year we want to have a try, and we ran the course with 30 students. And then next year I said, okay, let's make it open, and I think we hit more than 100. And then it became a mandatory course for the master's program in production engineering, production engineering and management program. Now we have around 80 to 90 students each year. And yes, I am the initiator of the course, and also the research behind it. So it's me and my colleague who initiated this research area in our department. I mean, we developed the research area also from scratch. So it's, as I said, so this is a journey that we started with, some activities, and then it became a research field, and we developed a lot of knowledge. Then it was an obvious step for us to take this further and make a course so that we can disseminate it to more students and practitioners.
Another question, that are not like me, sort of a KTH product, that have had the basic education here. Are there any influences from your your prior education in your home country and other things that you have sort of brought in that you haven't seen being used in the department?
Absolutely. And I mean, this is again a very good question, because I have a background of education which is completely opposite of Sweden. Just to give an example, in our style of education, grade is more important than understanding, and we prefer the societal aspects more than individual preferences. Like, okay, most of the students want to become engineer and doctor because this is what society, sees as a valuable career. So it's not individual preference of what I like to learn, what I like to do. So it's a lot of societal pressure, and I felt that this is not promoting learning that much. Yeah, and as a student, I have suffered because of these principles or priorities that the society has because of various reasons. Of course, it's economic reason and many reasons. So when I developed the course, it was very important for me that I don't repeat what I've been through. Yeah. So this background has taught me what not to do. Yeah. And that is a very important thing when it comes to teaching, to know what not to do. I mean, the things that the best practices is easy to find, right? So these are the best things to do. But what not to do is vast, right? Is a lot of things that we shouldn't do. And when you have this experience, then you know what are the things that we should avoid. And I think that is the key that has supported quite a lot in developing a course that actually helps learning.
I think that is an intrinsic motivator that we don't sort of talk so much about. That if you reflect on your prior education and that you feel that hasn't prepared you as well enough, you don't want to repeat that one.
Yeah,
exactly.
Very interesting. And because I mean, you mentioned that teaching is a way to disseminate research in a way. But to become a good teacher is not necessarily becoming a teacher. So I mean, so maybe in your background you have found motivations on why you want to be a good teacher also. But how did it happen? Where did you start to become a good teacher? And what does it even mean? What do you do? Why do you think you were nominated and then awarded?
No, I think it's not good teacher. There is the term I would coin, but I would say the urge to do good job, right? So if I'm doing research, I want to do the best. If I'm doing teaching, I want to do the best teaching. And I think that's a fundamental of many of us doing this. And that's of course, it's not particular event that happened in my life that asked me to, okay, now I need to be good teacher. But the motivation, of course, is dissemination of research, but dissemination in a way that the research is actually implemented. And that requires a different level of teaching practices, in my opinion. So you can teach theory, that's one thing. But knowing how this theory should be implemented, that's a different thing. And that is what I also try in my course, that if I do not give the right tool and knowledge to the students, they will not be able to implement it. This will be very fluffy knowledge, and they will say, oh, I know about it, but I do not know how to implement it. And that's how it is. And I think this is one point, of course, I think why I got this pedagogical prize, because I focus on implementation of knowledge. And if I remember correctly, my of course it's my colleagues who have nominated me, and they picked a couple of points, and I agree to all of them. Another point I think why this is the reason why I got is the topic itself. So the topic itself is a very burning topic of research, and it's not many institutions that are doing research in this area. So there is a lot of expectation that we should have this knowledge, but there is not many people who can deliver this knowledge, not many institute. So we are able to provide knowledge in an area which is emerging, and we have the unique set of knowledge in this area. So obviously that means it's a very good combination. And then another aspect is, as I mentioned, the practicality part of this. So we back of our development of this course, 10 years of research of 5 people. So you can understand the amount of research you have done, and most of the research you have done is applied research. So you have access to very good industrial examples, yeah, very relevant. And there is another aspect. So bringing examples that are relevant and has been tried by ourselves adds a different dimension. Another fourth point I already said a little bit is the implementation. Now, how do you make it, implementable? Yeah. So you need to give a problem to the students that they can relate to. So when it comes to the project work, we ask a student to pick a problem, societal problem, that they can relate to. So they know the problem, and they also see what will happen if this problem is solved. So this connection, right? And once these two things are combined, then you can also see that there could be an innovative idea coming out, because you are solving a societal problem that you are suffering. So there is a potential that these ideas could be a startup, a business. So I think that's another aspect that I try to do in this course, that through the process of learning, you are solving a societal problem. And if you solve the right problem in the right way, there is a possibility that you have a business entity, there is a business value. So I think this combination is unique, in my opinion.
I think when I read the article and my own sort of trials to implement sustainability in a good way, I think there was one quote from a student that said, finally a framework on this. That it appeared that the student have been exposed to courses where it's just talk about sustainability and not sort of a framework that make it easy to do right, and also the structure that very often, at least I need for, and I think many engineering students need to have something something concrete.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I think a very good point that you brought up. So this is a result of our research, 10 years of research. So we have developed a framework, and that framework we have tried in different companies, and now we give the same framework. So the student sees that there is a framework, and the framework is implemented in their project work, and then at the end, they get a result out of it. So they see this connection, and also they see that we are able to apply this knowledge through this framework. I mean, a different approach is that we just present the framework, and there are plenty of framework that are presented, still remains at the theoretical level. I think this is what the student has meant, that okay, framework, but we are able to implement already within the context of the course, and then we can see the result. The other good thing with this approach is that student knows where the learning is starting and where the learning process is ending, because they see the result of the implementation of the framework, and the result is a sort of approval if their project is generating value, sustainable value, and if the project is actually giving them an indication that the business idea that they work on has also economic potential. So they see that it is working. I think that is what the student meant.
And I also think that this is a good example, because me myself, I think many at KTH has a desire to implement and integrate really sustainability in their subject and topic, and I think this is a good way of avoiding the sort of stick-on type of sustainability. Here is the subject, and now we want some sustainability
aspect on it, and add on.
Then we have maybe a guest lecture that someone describes some framework and tell us how bad it is with this and that. But there is no sort of connection between the subject.
Exactly. Absolutely. And this was also, I mean, this is not the weakness of the course of those course, but that's the topic that we are teaching on those courses. It's very difficult to bring this connection. We are lucky because we are working with a research area that has a direct connection to SDG goals. So it becomes much easier for us. I have another course that I developed long time ago, quality control. there I have the same level of difficulties, because this is a classic area of research and education. Adding sustainability on top of it is extremely difficult, because this field is evolved around the concept that we need to minimize cost and waste, and that's it. Of course, that is part of sustainability, but not the bigger picture.
No. So how do we help each other to find those low-hanging fruits where the sort of connection could be made, maybe not as integrated from the beginning as your research. But I think that is a topic I think we are not discussing enough.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, I completely agree with you. But there are ways of doing it. Yeah, I cannot particularly say in which area we can do that. But I can give some example. In research in our department, we now try to combine our research with the research that our colleagues are doing, the classic, production engineering research. And I say, we discuss, okay, how do we see that this is contributing to sustainability? Yeah. How is your solution fitting to my solution that at the end give the result which is more sustainable? Because then, I mean, as engineer, we always go for the best technical solution, but we are not always going for the best sustainable solution for various reasons. Reason one, economic interest from the company, right? But if we take the responsibility, and if we integrate this in our research and education, that, okay, even if the company are interested in economic part, but when we are doing research, we are making sure the other aspects are also included. We will give you a best technical solution, but we will also make sure that is also sustainable. And I think that is possible in many cases. We are doing it in our department. We're also trying to do this as part of the course as well. So CMS is now being taught in different courses from different angle. For example, I give a lecture in additive manufacturing. How is additive manufacturing contributing to CMS so that we can contribute to the bigger sustainability goal? So this we are doing. Gunnar, you mentioned this. I think we should have a discussion sometimes where we can see if we can also collaborate somehow.
Yeah.
But how do you find the time to go this extra mile when it comes to, because I mean, it's all well and fine that you have ideas and thoughts. I can make a course like this, but it requires a lot of effort.
Yeah, it does. But I think for this particular case of this course, I don't think I would say I have put a lot of amount of time in developing it. The reason is very simple. Back of it, we have 10 years of research. Yep. So we did a lot of research. A lot of material was already made. A lot of presentations were already made for different purposes. What we needed to do is clean them, put them together, and then make it useful for a student. However, in the course, because I am asking the students to go extra mile as well, I'm asking them to go, self-learn and bring innovative ideas. So that means I also need to commit for time beyond the course, right? So theoretically, I have promised the student that if you have an idea, whenever you feel, at what time of the day you feel or night you feel, you are welcome to do that. Yeah. So I have given this promise to the student. Now, if each and every student comes and asks for this support, I will be bankrupt in terms of time. Yep. But if the things goes as planned, we are not putting more time than is needed. In fact, in some cases we are even reducing time needed because we have a lot of experience. Yeah. So I think from the design point of view, not much. Not running point of view, not much. But if we really need to support the student, that will require time. But I will happily do that, because then I know that their effort will create an impact, a societal impact. Then I will have a different motivation, right? Then I will spare time from different activities, which I think probably is less important in compared to that activity. So I think if you find the right problem to deal with, I think you will always find time. Yeah. So that's at least has worked for me so far. So I hope it will work in future as well.
And there is this, sorry, Gunnar.
Yeah, no, I was also thinking that one thing that I come to thinking about, one of the principles, or not in the future education sort of program, but what we have discussed is that how do we create the culture of sort of trials in the education and not sort of fear of failure? How do we create that kind of culture? So I guess what you're saying now, can you describe a bit sort of, are there any new things that you have tested that you, the beginning was a bit unsure of if it would work or not, sort of exam wise or activity wise?
I think of course most of the things that I use, I mean in the form of activities, they have been tried in different contexts, but not in the same context, not in the same way as we are doing. So this combination is of course a risky combination, but it worked. The other thing that I tried in this course, and I in fact got comments from my colleagues that the stereotype is that the engineers are not good communicators, right? So they are very good in solving problems, but they are not very good in communication. And this is something I think I have disproved. And how? I asked them to be creative. Even the presentation, most of the presentations that you will see made in this course, they are very interesting. They look very professional, because I wanted to work. I tell them that, okay, theory I know, okay? Don't teach me theory. Teach me about your project and teach me in a way that I don't feel bored, right? So this, bringing the creativity of our engineers, not only solving the technical problem, but solving other problems. I think this is the toughest thing I tried. I was told that this will not work, because of at least suspected that okay, this might not work because of these reasons, but it worked. So I think that would be the one that I could say.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, we are reaching almost the end of this conversation, and time flies as always. But you are a very passionate person when it comes to teaching. Where do you find inspiration?
Everywhere. So I in developing the course, I took inspiration from many different sources, even a TV program.
Which
so
one?
I think Dragon's Den, the British program, because I think if you want to do something that is good, the solution is always outside of the box, right? And that's why it's called outside of box, right? Because if you knew, then it's still already inside the box. So I think my interest is to create something that is meaningful and enhance learning. And for that, I don't mind going anywhere or everywhere to look for inspiration. So that's so I think that's the thing. So one, to do good things, and one, to create a learning environment for a student that is meaningful and rewarding. That is the driving for me to look for solution outside of box.
So the prize money is going to go to a startup, is it?
Well, I already have a startup, by the way.
Okay.
So that's another thing. I got some knowledge and experience of setting up and running, and this is also what I use in the course, right? So this is no, I think the money, I haven't decided in which purpose this will be used, but I need to think about it and find a meaningful way of spending it.
That's great. And thank you so much for being here and for sharing your your experiences, your thoughts, and also your passion for this, because I think it's also very important that we find that deeper motivation, because we don't go to work passionate, but if we are passionate when we go to work, it's something else is bound to happen, and we're bound to find things that we might not expect. And if we dare to be a little bit outside of the box and we can make things happen in a certainly interesting way. I thank you so much for taking time to join us here, and I wish you all the best with your course and your research. And hopefully we get a chance to talk to you again at some point.
I will love it very much. Thank you very much for inviting. I was not sure how I will spend 30 minutes, but now I feel like that I have a lot to say. So please invite me next time if you feel there is.
We can talk. I have many questions that we didn't have time for this time. But it's great.
Let's do this. Let's do this again. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yes.
Take care.
Bye.